Welcome back everyone, and prepare to be bedazzled, because today we're going to be perusing eBay for stellar deals on Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Loss. Without further ado, without further delay, let's allow the frivolities and antics to commence. Here we go. I'm going to refine the search via price plus shipping, highest first. The listings have been resorted. Nothing tickles my fancy, nothing piques my interest, nothing appeals to me at this juncture, so I'm just going to continue to scroll down and see if I can stumble upon anything that merits a steep, staggering, hefty, exorbitant, lofty premium price. We have a lot of, a myriad of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. There's nothing featured in this lot that is so extraordinary, that is so enticing, that I can vindicate, that I can justify, that I can warrant spending close to $175 on this lot. The asking price is exorbitant, to say the least. When you factor in the sales tax charge, it's almost $175. Is it lamentable? Of course. Let's move on. We have another lot that is deemed a little more sizable, but again, I'm not seeing enough covetable, desirable Yu-Gi-Oh cards to vindicate paying $139.30 plus sales tax, nearly $150 for this lot, in spite of how sizable it is. There's a massive quantity of figures in that lot. Not figures, I meant to say Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards in that lot, but they're not deemed highly desirable. They're not deemed highly covetable. Are these cards meritorious? Well, if you want to be able to play the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game at the metagame level, you need far more than just run-the-mill, generic, subpar cards. You need extraordinary cards. You may think that your strategy is deemed efficacious against other duelists. However, that's not the case. If their cards are deemed superior to yours, then you're pretty much apt to get trounced in nearly every duel. So, in formulating a deck, it goes beyond the ambit of just having a viable, potent strategy. It also entails utilizing Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards that are most conducive to allowing you to prevail, and that are best aligned with your strategy. Choose cards that complement your strategy. And that are not unaligned with your strategy. So we're just getting a copious amount of random Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. If we buy any of these lots, none of them seem to have any cohesive themes. You're better off buying perhaps the structured decks or the box sets. You're better off buying cards that you know that you will definitively receive for your purchase, instead of buying random booster packs or randomized card loss of Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. This is quite tantalizing. We're getting 6 booster packs. They're deemed to be the King's Court packs, as well as 2 Dawn and Majesty packs. However, for $48.70 plus sales tax, close to $55, it would be remiss of me to splurge on buying those booster packs at around $9 each. So, lamentably, it's a pass. I think if you're not going to buy random booster packs, then you should pay the lowest possible price for the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, especially if they are devoid of utility. Most Yu-Gi-Oh cards lack a pragmatic application. If you play the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game at the metagame level, they're just not competitively viable, to say the least. Yes, you can tinker with them. You can casually leverage them against your friends and against other duelists in a non-competitive environment, but people play the game to be able to prevail in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game tournaments. They do not want to utilize decks that are not competitively viable. So buy cards that will render you all the more primed, all the more poised, all the more apt to prevail in your upcoming duels. You have a lot of 10 cards for $28.50. Over $3 per card when you factor in the sales tax charge. Again, it's too exorbitant, especially considering that a booster pack amid the 1990s presumably retailed for around $3 and was presumably comprised of 3 to 8 cards. Was presumably comprised of 8 to 12 cards. $3 per card, even if they are deemed mediocre at best, is not a stellar, worthwhile, enticing deal. Am I deterred to buy that set of cards? Yes. Especially when you can get a few decks for around the $30 price point. There are a copious amount of subpar Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are literally worth pennies. So if you're going to lay out all this money buying them in bulk, buying them in a large quantity, if you're going to have this voluminous lot that you're going to buy, and if the cards are not deemed to be metagame, top tier Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards, then do not acquiesce, do not concede, do not accede to paying top dollar for them. So people may begrudgingly buy these sizable Yu-Gi-Oh trading card lots just to be able to fill in gaps in their collections, but if the cards have no utility, if they have no pragmatic application, and if people seldomly play weak cards, then you're just better off perusing Yu-Gi-Oh card databases online rather than hoarding cards that are worthless in the competitive scene. But some people buy them for nostalgic value. Some people deem the original cards to be classic and iconic, and the original Yu-Gi-Oh cards more than likely warrant collecting if you're an avowed, avid, devout, hardcore Yu-Gi-Oh fan. However, the Cards released in the 2010s and onward. Probably should not be profusely purchased by casual gamers and longtime Yu-Gi-Oh fans. The cards from the 2010s and the 2020s should only be purchased if they meet the condition of being deemed competitively viable. Most cards are not competitively viable. They are impotent in duels and will undermine your competitiveness and probability to win if you're utilizing meek, feeble, weak cards. So lamentably we didn't stumble upon a single extraordinary, worthwhile Yu-Gi-Oh trading card lot. But actually this lot isn't too abysmal. You get cards that were churned out in the latter half of the 1990s, a couple of Dark Magicians, and right now the winning bid is 129. They may not be unscathed, they may not be in mint nor pristine condition, they may be frayed, they may be tattered, but they are the original cards. And yet again, you're not paying top dollar. The winning bid or wins this lot of 28 cards for $1.25. He's paying around 5 to 6 cents per card. I presume that the winning bid will be significantly higher than 125, but that wouldn't be deemed, an abysmal deal if you're buying them for pennies each, especially if they have no competitive utility. If they're not competitively viable, then forgo buying them. Let's see what else we have. We have a lot of 91 Yu-Gi-Oh cards for $3.75. And these Yu-Gi-Oh cards are around 5 cents each. Again, not an abysmal deal per se. And these are also Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were churned out amid the 1990s. So if you're collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards based on nostalgia, then buy the ones from the 1990s and the early 2000s and desist and abstain and refrain from buying the ones from the 2010s and the 2020s. If you're a competitive gamer, then you can just buy the utmost viably competitive Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. But if you're buying them for the sake of nostalgia, then go with the first edition cards. Go with the original cards. We get 34 1999 Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. Are any of them holographic? Let's find out. These are classic, iconic, nostalgic Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. We even get a couple pieces of Exodia, the Forbidden One. We get some Blue Eyes White Dragons. Before you buy duplicate cards, it'd probably behoove you to buy cards that you do not already have, but you can always utilize duplicate cards for trades or to resell via online. These cards are at this juncture being sold for around 20 cents per card. But these cards are classic, nostalgic, and iconic, and I guess they're appealing enough for bidders to warrant paying around 20 cents or more for these 1999 Yu-Gi-Oh! First Edition cards. If you're getting First Edition Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards for around the retail prices, then by all means, take heed of doing so. If you relish every facet of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series. However, if you have an aversion to the anime series and you just want to be able to compete at the metagame level for whatever reason, then hone in on buying the utmost potent, the utmost competitively viable Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards, and not buying older, non-competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards for the sake of nostalgia, if you do not deem them to be iconic to you. Was all predicated upon that you want to add to your collection, and it's predicated upon how often you foresee yourself playing competitively in Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game tournaments. So there are some stellar deals, but they are far and few, and they are suddenly stumbled upon for Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards. These Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card loss have merit if you love the Yu-Gi-Oh! Media franchise. If you deem it to be mediocre, then you may want to just pass on buying these Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card loss. Once again, I hope that you found this video to be intriguing and insightful. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.